Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ray Tampa Podcast. Our podcast offers bold commentary on various subject matters with a laser-like focus on the truth. My name is Ray Tampa, and I'm the host of the Ray Tampa Podcast. We have in our studio Mr. Russell Cato, a veteran educator, retired educator, with more than 40 plus years of experience in the Pinellas County schools. And Mr. Jamie Wilson III, a healthcare provider with more than 30 years of experience working as a physical therapist. My co-host, my dynamic co-host, the Trump Big Beautiful Tax Plan, as he would call it. We would call it something else. But anyway, his tax plan squeaked by both chambers of Congress last week. As a result, it is now federal law. Federal law. My co-host and I will attempt to break down a few of the provisions in the bill or the law. Number one, the law defunds Planned Parenthood clinics. And we'll get into discussion on these points a little later on, along with a lot of other things. But the bill defunds Planned Parenthood, increases healthcare costs for more than 1 million Medicare enrollees, imposes new out-of-pocket costs on Medicaid enrollees. It rips food assistance away from children and aging out of foster care kids, as well as veterans and the homeless. Number 5, introduces a new student loan payment plan that will increase monthly payments. Number 6, $30 billion, $30 billion for Trump's out of control deportation force. Number 7, it gives Trump's radical OMB director and Project 2025 architect a $100 million slush fund. A slush fund, $100 million. It incentivizes waste and poor program administration for SNAP state waivers. Number 9, gives startup investors an additional $5 million in tax-free income. Number 10, it diverts public school funds to benefit wealthy families. These are 10 of the most egregious points in the big tax plan. But believe me, there are a lot and lots more to be said about this horrendous tax plan. Now, the information I just shared was published July 3rd, 2025, in an article by the Center for American Progress. The title is 10 Egregious Things You May Not Know About the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Numerous writers, researchers contributed to the article, and they're listed as follows. We have to give credit to the people whose material we're using. So there were several writers and contributors to this article, researchers. Colin Seeberger, Andrea Dukas, Natasha Murphy, Kiara B. Jones, Andrea Arguello, Lily Roberts, Cal Ross, Michael Sozan, Silva Mathema, and Sarah Partridge, and one other, Paige Shoemaker. They were all writers, contributors, researchers to the information I just shared. So at this point, my co-host and I will discuss these points and many others associated with this big, ugly tax plan pushed on the American people by the Republicans in Congress. Jay, what you have?
Well, as we know, the bill is primarily just for the wealthy, as we all know, and benefits the top 1% more than anybody. But as you summarize a lot of things that it's affecting, it's going to be really bad. And I think what hits most is the insurance. Like, we got older people, we have disabled people. It's going to really leave them, low-income people, it's going to really leave them in a bad situation as far as being covered by insurance. And, you know, about it, I forget the actual date, but we're talking about 10 million Americans are going to be without insurance once this stuff the actual legislation actually starts. He does not care about America. And it's just, I'll say by 2034, that's a ways from now, but they project, according to CNN Business News, they project 10 million, that's a lot of people, 10 million Americans being without, being uninsured. I mean, that's third world country type stuff. And all of this, anything President Obama did, he does his darnness to undo. Mm-hmm. And it's just, people can't see it. And it's not American, because even the benefits, he's throwing out little chump stuff like, oh, your tips and your overtime. That is temporary. That's going to be for a good 5 or 6 years. That's temporary. I mean, that's not a benefit to us. Everything that he's done and proposed is for big business, big corporations. They're going to get these tax breaks and tax incentives, and that's just helping them. And it goes back to the 1%.
I agree with what you said, but I don't think the elimination of taxes on tips is going to last 5 years. I am of the opinion it's going to be there for no more than 2 years.
Well,
that's even worse than what you were saying.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, it's not permanent.
It's not permanent.
It's enough to satisfy some people to get it passed. Mm-hmm. Get it passed, then we drop it off. That's their attitude. Mm-hmm. Russ, what you have?
I remember Jamie and I kind of discussed this when you were asking about Trump's bill. And I said to people, and I went back and really looked at that bill, and I also went back and looked at Project 25. Mm-hmm. And you got to see a strong correlation between Project 25 and what Trump is doing. And when I read Project 25, these people put in $22 million in this blueprint to help Trump in his second term. That's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And the purpose of Project 25 is to gut out check and balance system of the Constitution, mm-hmm. yes. which will give Trump the authority, executive authority over every department that is in the federal system. And that's what he is doing right now. So I say to people, if you're not making more than $50,000 a year, you're a recipient of Medicare and the SNAP program and the student loan, you ain't gonna be in bad
Bad
shape.
shape. Bad shape.
Mhm.
Yeah, in bad shape.
You were speaking about Project 2025, and I want to mention a little more about that
Okay.
because I did indicate that there's going to be a slush fund given to the guy over the OBM program, the Office of or OMB program,
That's
Office
Russell.
of Management and Budget. Very important program.
Mhm.
And the guy that is over that, the director, his last name is Voigt.
Russell.
Voigt, right. Voigt, in an interview just recently, indicated that, he's going to follow the dictates of his legal team and the president. He said nothing about following the dictates of the law. That's different. Your legal team and your leader, the president, doesn't mean that you're going to follow the law. So he was careful in what he said. I want to speak about that a little more in detail because there's a gentleman that was in a picture with Clarence Thomas and that Russell Crowe guy,
Yeah.
the benefactor for Clarence Thomas. And this lawyer, I can't think of his name, was in that picture. Leonard Leo, who's the guy who tends to vet the potential Supreme Court justices for the Republican presidential candidates. But anyway, the lawyer that this Voigt guy said he's going to follow his dictates, he's in that picture with those crooks.
Right.
And I checked this morning to see if, in fact, he made it through the Senate. And he did, because now he's the director of the Office of Management and Budget.
Right.
That's horrible. Those senators know this guy's background, but they don't care. If Trump says do it, they do it.
Trump is the law. That's
Trump
that's the law he's going by. Trump is the law.
Is the law. What else you got, Jay?
I'm just really I mean, like you were basically saying, like these permanent cuts, this is a question. What about the next president? Couldn't they undo some of this?
Some of it, yeah.
Yeah, because I hear the word permanent. Like these rich people can't have these permanent tax breaks. I mean, we're already in enough trouble with we're pouring money into wars. We're terror fighting. We're doing a lot of things, and we're going to get it. The working class people is going to get it. Working class and people that's still paying into a government, and that's just a concern. And I just see bad things unless people are Americans start pushing back. And
That's a good question.
yeah, I mean, immediately, just because something is passed, they can get pressure. I mean, he's walked a lot of other things back. And some of this stuff really needs to be walked back because I'm seeing doom and gloom, not immediate doom and gloom, but I'm seeing doom and gloom, financial doom and gloom. And that just makes us weak for other countries to swoop in. And we got to keep our eye on China. We got to keep our eye on Russia. They're smart and calculating. And they're waiting for us because they know we got a monkey in office.
As a matter of fact, you spoke about doom and gloom. There's a senator, Sheldon Whitehouse, Sheldon Whitehouse. He did a presentation on the floor of the Senate. And one of the things he said in that speech is, this chamber is like a crime scene. All the things that have happened in this bill is criminal.
It is criminal. We
might as well get the yellow tape and wrap it around this chamber. This is like a crime scene. And that speaks to what you just said, the doom and gloom.
Yeah.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good.
Unraveling over greed.
Specifically, you were talking about, can some of this stuff be unraveled? Remember when he was president the first time, he enacted or implemented, with the help of Congress, the 2017 Trump tax cuts. And those cuts were set to expire this year,
Right.
December 31st of this year.
Mhm.
But this bill just extended those tax cuts.
Right.
And I'm trying to remember if they were permanently extended or a time frame. But I'm thinking they were permanently extended. But the
There's a
bottom
time
line
frame on
is,
some.
Yeah, it was yeah.
the bottom line is, those tax cuts were extended.
Right. That's why
Yeah.
they needed him back in office.
Yeah.
That's why the rich needed him back. For this initially, yes, the 2025 project and all that stuff, but the rich needed him back.
Most definitely.
That's why they got Elon involved. They rigged this thing, did all their little fraud junk to get him back, to keep the tax cuts for the rich. And then, and just in thinking, I answered my own question. Yes, because he undid President Obama stuff, so his stuff can be undid.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
They're trying to implement laws that are going to be difficult to undo,
Mhm.
but nevertheless, Congress can do what they need to do.
Exactly, and they need to do something.
Now, on the campaign trail,
That's
he
solid.
repeatedly said, I will not touch Medicare. I will not touch
Oh.
Medicaid.
We knew better.
There
Yeah.
are repeated statements of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And look what he did. Steep cuts
Steep cuts.
to Medicaid.
Yep.
Now, the number of people that are going to be without health care insurance, Medicaid,
Mhm.
the range goes from anywhere from 10 million to 15 million,
Mhm.
depending on who's making that estimate.
Mhm.
But that's a lot of people that
Mhm.
won't have health insurance,
Yep.
won't have health insurance. And that's going to be horrible. It's
Yes.
going to be
Well,
horrible.
Truly it is. But you know, I think when you look at this, 70% of American people know this is a bad bill. They
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, they know it's bad.
But you got Trump.
Dictator.
There's something about Trump that these people love. What is it? I don't know. Here is a man who continues to lie about things and continue to do the negatives always. And I looked at this plan again, and look at this. If you look what he's doing, here's where your expenditures is coming. Tax cut, border and defense, the green energy. That's where your tax cut is coming from. And then to bring money in, look what you're doing. Medicaid, any entitlement program,
Mhm.
student loan. He knows what he's doing. So I go back to you, Ray, what you said. If you go back and look at Project 25, what this thing did, those guys who are part of that Project 25 are in his cabinet.
Most definitely.
Mhm.
You see?
Most
Specifically,
definitely.
They in his
all in
cabinet.
favor of come with
They,
me.
Russell Boyd,
Yeah.
Mhm.
the guy who was, I can't call him, John Ratcliffe, who was over, I think, CIA, something like that. All of these boys are part of his cabinet in his circle. So
Mhm.
what can you do?
Yeah. We talking
Well,
hospitals?
that's a good question, and I want to come back to that because I think that's something that I wanted to
Okay.
talk about toward the end of the program, because as we identify all the issues
Mhm.
with this bill, with this
Right.
law, and how it's going to affect us,
Right.
that's the question. What can we do?
Okay.
So we'll come back to that.
Okay.
What you were saying, Jay?
Yeah, think when we're talking about Medicaid, it's going to be a closing down of a lot of hospitals
Oh,
because
yeah.
they're not going to be getting the funds from the state to maintain, which is going to lead a lot of people with these bills. So some networks of hospitals or insurances, if you racking up bills, you ain't gonna be able to get a hospital stay.
Well, Jim, let me pick
know?
it back on you when you said that.
That's
Look what happened in the Texas flood with FEMA.
mm-hmm.
Look what happened. Somebody got to give an answer for that.
Yeah.
And they know what the answer. You're cutting funds. You land on people. You don't have the people to do this anymore. They don't want that investigation. They don't want that.
That's a $1 trillion cut,
That's
you know?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, like I said, it's just so much to
It's
be
so much.
said
it is.
about this bill,
True.
about this law. So much. And we'll never cover all the
No,
finer
no,
points
you can't.
in a 30-minute show.
No.
Hell, look at Hakeem Jeffries. He
Yeah.
spent over 8 hours
Okay.
talking about this nonsense on the floor of the House. So 8 hours versus 30 minutes. Let's look at Social Security taxes.
Uh-huh.
He talked about cutting taxes on Social Security recipients, making sure that the Social Security checks weren't taxed. It didn't work.
No,
The Republicans didn't support that.
No.
They could defy him when they wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
and they could pretend they couldn't defy him at other times. Let's look at the salt tax.
Yeah.
The salt tax, that's
Yeah.
a state and local tax
Mm-hmm.
deduction
The cap.
that tends to benefit the high earners, high cost property owners in New York, California,
Mhm.
and states of that nature. At least they increased
Mhm.
the deduction amount that these property owners could get. I
Right.
think it went from 10,000
To 40.
maximum to what you say?
To 40.
To 40,000
Mm-hmm.
maximum. Okay, that was a little help. That was a little help. But I don't know if that was permanent. That might have only been for a year or two.
Could be.
They did things just to get over the finish line.
Right.
But what you were speaking to, Russ, what Trump and his cohorts have done, they have taken money
Uh-huh.
from the least fortunate of
Exactly.
us
That's what they've done.
to increase the profit margin for the people that really don't need it,
Right.
the ultra rich.
Right.
True.
They have taken money from kids, from the homeless, from the disabled, and people of that nature to benefit the ultra rich.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They've taken money from the people that's going to hurt
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and given it to people that's not even going to know that the money was put in their accounts.
Right.
They-
Right.
Man, give me a break.
And the little bump ups that they gave regular working people, they even got a thing in here. They were saying, based on what you were just talking about, the extra $40,000 increase, and then I make another statement. However, millionaires who lose their job will not be able to collect unemployment benefits. Key word: millionaire. Hello, you don't need them. Like you giving us something.
Here's what you got to understand too. If you look at Trump and you look at his environment, it's really leaning towards rich people. You know, down the bottom.
Everything.
Yeah.
So his concern right now, he's saying, okay, how are we going to raise money to pay these rich people? Easy.
Mhm.
Entitlement program. Get it from there. These are the people that, I can, excuse this, mess over.
Yeah.
I can take things from them, but at the same time, that's why I want to see how he's going to cut this thing to these kind of people. What are you going to say to them when you start speaking to them that you wouldn't hit Social Security?
But the thing about it is the people that are being hurt, they need to listen.
That's what
Are they paying attention?
No,
Don't care.
no,
Really?
they don't know.
The people that really need to hear what we're talking about
True,
and
they-
understand
you're
what we're
right.
talking about, are they listening?
No.
Because if they're listening, they wouldn't support this
That's
stupidity.
right.
Mhm.
This
They
is
wouldn't
Trump's
support
world,
Trump.
man. This is
Trump's
Trump's
world.
world. This
Yeah.
is his world.
And that's what they depend on.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
if we take this money from them, they're not paying attention. They're not paying attention. So who cares?
Yeah, this is his
Yeah.
world, man.
Now he's going to boost defense
yeah.
funding.
Oh yeah.
He'll do that.
Definitely that.
Definitely.
What about $150 billion?
Keep that up. Yeah.
And he's going to provide about 130 billion,
Yeah.
or somewhere in that range,
Mhm.
to ICE.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
To
Border
ICE.
security, yeah.
Border security.
They're
Yeah.
already getting like $40,000 bonuses.
That's
That's why
right.
they're hanging out at schools, Chuck E. Cheese, and all these other places. You know what I mean?
Wait a
Because
minute.
where there's kids, their parents.
The ICE
He was giving out
investigators are getting 40,000
and bonuses.
bonuses.
Read that on Newsweek.
Oh man.
That's why they're so aggressive and motivated to. That's why they're showing up everywhere. I mean, they're doing some reckless stuff. You know, I say this like in places like California, and he is really hard on the Californians because he don't like the governor there.
Newsom.
But let me tell you something. California is full of gangs, and I'm not saying do this. I'm not saying this, but y'all need to use y'all energy somewhere else instead of fighting each other on colors and territory. Y'all see what ISIS is doing and they're getting away with it. Y'all can shut that down. Y'all can shut that down very quickly. Very quickly.
The problem with Trump is, too, when you're talking about immigrants, it is that thing called due process of law. That's what he don't want to get in. He is saying, y'all have no due process of law. If you're criminals, I don't care what you said, you don't have the question, the audacity to say process of law, due process.
It's dictatorship,
Yeah,
man.
that's what this man is.
Dictatorship, and that's what he wants. That's what he's, you know, yeah, king for life. That's what he wants, and he's got a bunch of rich. See,
yes.
he doesn't appoint just anybody in his cabinet. He want rich people that's candy to them.
Please
They benefit from everything he's doing. That's why they're there. It's not for the people. None of this stuff is for the American people.
Yeah.
That is a fallacy.
Project 25 called this a word, unitary executive control.
Unitary executive control.
Mm-hmm.
They're right.
That's what it is.
And they're right.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And
And
all
all
the lady who's over, like the lady who's over the Department of Education.
Yeah.
She's like the owner of that basketball team in Orlando. What's that name?
I forgot
that
it.
Magic?
I know you're talking.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
She probably can't spell education.
Mhm.
She probably can't spell education, and she's over the Department of Education because she's wealthy.
Mhm.
Because she's wealthy, and
Oh,
because she promotes these charter schools.
Surely. That's what it is.
Oh, and for all you solar and EV people think you're going to get that tax credit,
It's gone.
That's gone.
That's gone.
That ends. They said in
That's
September.
gone. Yeah, that's gone.
Previously it was scheduled to last through 2032.
Yeah.
But he.
Well, the thing about it is, you all may remember when he was campaigning, he was out there yelling, "Drill, baby, drill!
Yeah.
Drill, baby,
The
drill."
oil man.
You know, let's get that fossil fuel. You know, he wasn't interested in solar and energy and clean energy.
They make deals with oil. That's how they make deals with other countries with oil.
And he played along with Elon with this EV program.
Yeah.
Now that he and Elon are at odds with each other, he's back to his drill, baby, drill.
Elon gonna make him a third party.
Yeah, well, I hope he makes a party that's going to hurt the Republicans.
Yeah.
And not the Democrats.
You know what I noticed too with Ukraine, and I want to say this in very short. If you notice, he told the Ukraine president, we're going to give you defensive weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Offensive weapons.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? Because offensive weapon hits into Russia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm talking about? It's a game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've just been notified that we have a minute left on the program, so we want to wind it down. I want to thank my dynamic co-host, Jamie Wilson III, Russell Cato, for a job well done as always. We want to thank you, the listening audience, for tuning in to the Ray Tampa podcast. And we ask that you go to YouTube, type in the Ray Tampa podcast, and you can see them all. With all that being said, good evening.